Currently, it's almost mandatory for each team to run Sigma and Orisa as their tanks. The double shield meta proved itself to be the sequel to GOATs in the professional Overwatch scene. Even after the initial nerfs on Sigma and Orisa's barrier cooldowns, they remained as the primary duo for almost all professional games after the 2-2-2 roll-off. The recent PTR, however, has done a considerable amount of balance tweaks on tanks overall. Today, we'll be discussing three main ideas: why Orisa is used in professional games, the issue of degrading game quality as Orisa becomes more popular, and whether the new PTR patches can bring about change in the variety of comp choices that many have been waiting for. First, let's discuss how Orisa became the meta after the 2-2-2 roll-off. I won't explain in too much detail, but even before Sigma became popular, Orisa was a heavily favored pick, often paired with Mei, who could fill in as a second line of defense, dividing the enemy team, blocking hooks, and pressuring the backline with freeze. A similar role to what Sigma does now.
As long as we see a lot of Orisa Roadhog, it's going to be a lot of Mei walls to try to block it.
To put it plainly, Orisa was the best main tank in the game. Winston, Wrecking Ball, and even Reinhardt were unable to keep up with Orisa on most maps. Then came along Sigma. We've covered the double shield meta to a certain extent in our previous videos, but in essence, Orisa Sigma is a combo that provides the strongest front line while minimizing flank angles. Sigma's projectable shield and Lucio's speed boost also allow this comp to be quite mobile when executed properly, minimizing the risk an Orisa has to struggle with when walking in on defended enemies. Because of how well Sigma could deny longer range DPS heroes, Doomfist and Reaper no longer had to worry about their weak points. Those are a few reasons why Orisa has been so prominent since the 2-2-2 roll-off. So why might that be a bad thing? Throughout Overwatch's competitive history, different compositions have come and gone. However, Orisa has created a dynamic in Overwatch that previous metas did not.
Her main issue? Orisa lacks solo kill potential, which forces her to play the game at a much slower and safer pace compared to other tanks.
Her primary fire deals quite a bit of raw damage at 132 per second, but in order to be effective, she has to get in close to opponents, a situation where she is left vulnerable. A second issue is the 10-second cooldown on her shield, meaning that closing the gap between her and her enemies means incremental progress rather than a blitz rush. Her halt can get environmental kills, but more often than not, it requires teammates to follow up on it. Fortify is a primary defensive skill that is used to survive rather than push. With no pure offensive skills, Orisa relies on her teammates to get kills, requiring a high degree of teamwork in nearly every situation. On the other hand, all other main tanks have the potential to solo enemies. Winston has his melee jump pack AoE combo and his ultimate, Hammond is mobile and can take out squishies with his bump and pile driver combos, and Reinhardt's shield allows him to push up at will, seamlessly switching between offense and defense with no cooldown, and swing his hammer through enemy shields for heavy damage output. On top of this, his Earth Shatter can single-handedly win fights. If all the other tanks have such high solo potential, why is Orisa so popular? Put simply, she's a low-risk, high-reward hero. She's able to keep the front line strong while helping her DPSs get kills. And at the professional level, there are no other tanks who can compete. But we're not going to focus on the professional level. We're going to focus on why Orisa is bad in competitive games.
Based on our experience of climbing the ladder and competing at the top 500 level, it's safe to say that match-made players don't necessarily always play as a coordinated team.
Orisa is a hero who requires a great deal of teamwork to be effective, so even an incredible solo Orisa player might struggle to find success if their team is unable to coordinate with her. With the 2-2-2 roll-off, Orisa has become a must-pick, despite not being very fun to play. And that's why Blizzard is looking to make some changes. On PTR,
Orisa's shield health has been reduced,
while her Fortify has been buffed. She's also been given more armor and faster walk speed while firing. The hope is that these changes will promote more proactive play with Orisa, leading to less stagnant, teamwork-dependent play in Ranked. Make sure you check the patch notes to see what changes have been made to Orisa, as well as the other tanks, and let us know in the comments below if you think that these changes will positively impact the competitive ladder. That's it for today. See you next time.